Once upon a time, in the sprawling city of Atlanta, Georgia, there lay a place of gathering and merriment known as Atlanta's Silverbacks Park. It was here that my tale unfolds, a chronicle woven with threads of disillusionment and sorrow, a stark contrast to the vibrant tapestry of joy and camaraderie that sports and communal spaces are meant to embody. As I approached the hallowed grounds, my heart fluttered with the naivety of youth, eager to witness the beauty of the game, the unity of sportsmanship. Yet, as I parted with my hard-earned coins for the privilege of parking, a bitter taste lingered on my tongue. To pay for a patch of earth when the fields themselves bore the mark of patronage seemed a cruel jest, a harbinger of the trials that lay ahead. The fields, they were a sight to behold, lush and verdant, a painter's dream. But as I ventured further, my eyes were met with a vision most distressing. The once proud stadium, now a bastion of neglect, was awash with the detritus of human consumption. Garbage mountains loomed large, a testament to the apathy that had seeped into the very bones of this place. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and I could not help but wonder, how could a place so full of life on the outside be so thoroughly gutted of its soul within? As the match commenced, a cacophony rent the air, a symphony of sound so distorted and loud that it tore at the very fabric of enjoyment. The speakers, those poor, overworked heralds of noise, strained under the weight of music that was less a backdrop and more a battalion invading the senses. It was then that I understood the true meaning of distraction, as the beauty of the game was drowned out by the relentless auditory assault. In the midst of this sensory maelstrom, my attention turned to the vendors, those purveyors of sustenance, who peddled their wares with a price tag that belied the meager offerings. A waffle so thin it could scarce support the weight of a single, overcooked chicken finger, accompanied by a scattering of fruit as if to say, "Behold, a feast fit for a king, but at what cost, dear friends?" To part with one's currency for such culinary insults was to engage in a dance with folly itself. As the game drew to a close, the hunger that gnawed at my belly was matched only by the gnawing of my spirit, as I waited and waited for a meal so simple, yet so elusive. The gears of service ground to a halt, as if time itself had forsaken this forsaken place. And in that interminable wait, I felt the weight of neglect, the sting of indifference, as the minutes stretched into an eternity of anticipation unfulfilled. But lo, the trials of the flesh paled in comparison to the affronts to the spirit, for it was there, amidst the cheers and tears of competition, that the rules of fair play were cast aside like the refuse that line the aisles. To witness the sanctity of sport defiled by those who would flout the very principles upon which the game was built, was to watch the last embers of hope flicker and die. And as the day waned and the shadows grew long, I beheld a stadium that had once pulsed with life, now reduced to a shell of its former glory. The laughter of children, the pride of athletes, the dreams of a community, all swept away by the tide of indifference, leaving in its wake a silence more deafening than the loudest of speakers. In the end, as I walked away from Atlanta's Silverbacks Park, my heart heavy with the burden of witnessing a paradise lost, I could not help but mourn for what once was and what could have been. For in this place, the promise of unity and joy had been eclipsed by the specter of neglect and disillusionment, a stark reminder that even the grandest of stages can crumble under the weight of mismanagement and disregard. So I ask you, dear listeners, have you not felt the sting of disappointment, the ache of unfulfilled potential? Share in my sorrow, for it is our collective voice that carries the power to awaken the SL.
The businesses circling Atlanta Silverbacks Park feel like they all graduated from the same sad night school of almost good enough, and the diploma they hang on the wall is written in disappearing ink. One step off the stadium grass, and you enter a district where every cash register seems to cough before it opens, where the smell of warm food is usually a false alarm, and where the customer in front of you is already negotiating a refund for the customer before him. It is a carousel of tiny heartbreaks, spinning slow enough for you to read every cracked sign that says "World Famous," when nothing inside has left the zip code in years. Restaurants near the park treat menus like ransom notes: pay first, hope later. At Willie B's Southern Cuisine, they will swear the wings are wings until you bite into what tastes like a retired running shoe wearing a coat of sand. One visitor asked for 6 wings, received a chicken breast sliced into strips, asked again, received the same breast rearranged like a bad card trick. $14 and a walk of shame back to the car, jaws aching, waffle cold enough to use as an ice pack. Oversalted pork chops, greens boiled until they forget they were ever leaves, mac and cheese that separates into oil and yellow sadness. Each plate arrives already disappointed in itself. One man cut into a turkey wing and found blood pooling under the skin. Management refunded him only for the sides he did not eat, as if horror has a half-price coupon. They are always out of whatever you telephoned in for. The line holds longer than a gospel solo, and the apology you get is a shrug that says, support black business, while the business forgets to support you back. Pizza and beer should be impossible to ruin. The universe invented them as a consolation prize, but Willie B's Pizza Sweetwater Beer Garden still managed to turn them into a hostage situation. Pizzas leave the oven white as printer paper on the bottom, the cheese a rubber sticker you could mail. The cashier loses orders the way children lose baby teeth, loudly and with lots of blood. One guest hunted the zoo grounds for a manager, while strangers in animal face paint tried to translate the complaint form. The refund appeared only after the sunset and 3 phone calls. Like a fairy tale curse lifted at the final stroke of customer stamina. Lenox Square, the mall everyone says you have to visit, greets you with a parking lot that behaves like a prank. Rows of cars circle in prayer, stalking brake lights the way sharks follow wounded fish. If you finally park on the wrong painted line, a private booting company materializes faster than superheroes, snaps a metal claw on your wheel, and charges $75 for the crime of walking to another entrance. Inside, the directories have given up. Store names randomly teleport between floors, and security guards treat every shopper as a possible DVD pirate. Bathrooms smell like forgotten gym socks, and half the stalls are locked without occupants, as if ghosts get privacy. One woman bought lipstick that scanned at double the shelf price when she asked why. The clerk blamed traffics, which is not a real fee, just a word that sounds busy. The mall pipes Christmas music so loud that Macy's feels like a nightclub at 2 a.m., except the bouncer is a perfume spritzer, and the cover charge is your will to live. Exhale Spa sells you the dream of silk skin and bamboo music, then tattoos bruises on your cheeks. Facials feel like archaeology. The esthetician chips at your face with the urgency of someone digging for lost cities. Customers walk out raw, flaking, 1 month later still wearing dark spots that look like shadow mustaches. The sauna smells of other people's gym socks because the day cleaners quit months ago and nobody told the towels. Canceling membership is a treasure hunt. Handwritten form, unsigned receipt, charges that resurrect every 30 days like a vampire bill. One woman cancelled in October. December's charge still arrived wearing a Santa hat. They promise you 1 free makeup month, then forget the promise while smiling the same smile a magician uses before the rabbit dies. The robes are now rationed at the front desk like wartime bread. Forget to ask, and you will steam naked, clutching yesterday's newspaper for dignity. Cuban food in this corner of Atlanta behaves like it was described over a bad phone line. Havana Sandwich Shop builds its Cuban sandwich with bread so stale it could grind coffee, layers of supermarket ham slices still shivering from the fridge, and pickles that taste like cucumber forgot its purpose. One man found a rigid piece of black plastic tucked between the pork and his molar. Another pulled out a long black hair that looked like it had traveled from a brush through the kitchen and straight into his soul. Orders arrive missing ingredients the way promises disappear after elections. The pork.
I've been looking into what happens around Atlanta's Silverbacks Park. You know, the big soccer place off Spaghetti Junction, and the stores right there are kind of sketchy. Like the TJ Maxx and Home Goods in that strip are the type where workers smile real big while they ring up clearance stickers that do not match what is in your bag. Last month, 6 folks from DeKalb, a mom and her grown son included, got indicted for running a theft ring out of those exact stores. They would walk in with empty tote bags, scoop armloads of makeup, and throw pillows, then slap fake clearance tags on everything so the cashier never scanned the real barcode. I bet the tourist behind them in line probably thought, wow, Georgia prices are so low, and went back to their Airbnb feeling proud of the deal. Next day, the same crew probably did it again, because the mom had the son act lookout while she distracted the teen at the register with small talk about the Braves. I imagine the visitors figured it out only when they saw the news, sitting in the airport waiting to fly home, feeling greasy because their